Thanks for joining me, and this is Granny going down the rabbit hole of lightning. So, last time we talked about the different parts of our atmosphere that lightning releases energy. Well, this episode, we're going to talk about those different characteristics, such as earlier I said that one average lightning bolt produces 1 billion joules or a gigajoule. That's hard for me to comprehend. And remember that the definition of a joule is the energy needed to emit 1 watt of power for 1 second, or a watt second. So an average lightning bolt can power a 60-watt light bulb for 6 months, which to me is just mind-blowing. So when I tried to understand the difference between electricity and lightning, it's kind of the same thing. Electricity is the science behind it, but I could not find a definitive difference other than it said that electricity is the study of electrical energy, and that it was a branch of science dealing with that phenomenon. So a lightning bolt can travel around 270,000 kilometers a minute or a second. Lightning bolts have been recorded hotter than the surface of the sun, more than 10,000 degrees. So as I mentioned earlier in the other episode, that there are approximately 240 events with humans and lightning. Keep that in mind. We'll talk more about that later. But how many lightning strikes occur in the world daily? Well, there are between 40 and 50 flashes of lightning every second of every day, which means that is about 1.4 billion lightning bolts a year. So when kind of investigating, I came across a photo of Kuala Lumpur during a lightning storm taken in 2020. And it was a stack of 32 shots that overlaid each other during a 40-minute period. And it is stunningly beautiful. And although I would never want to be there, but anyway. So when finding out about lightning, Africa is home of 6 of the world's top sites for lightning strikes. And many of those sites are along the Matumba mountain range in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. But the world's top spot is Lake Maracaibo, Venezuela. Now, going back to Africa, if you look at the map of Africa, it's up in the northeastern quadrant of Africa, and by looking at the topography of that area, there are lots of mountains and rivers, and you can kind of understand the reasoning of that, the lightning and the storms that they get. So the world's top spot for lightning strikes is Maracaibo, Venezuela. So Russian researcher Andrei Zavratsky has studied Lake Maracaibo for a long time and believes that the lightning occurs from the cold of the Andes that flows down in that area, Lake Maracaibo area, that meets the Caribbean warm air. And he suspects it's that combination of cold air and warm air that creates that environment to produce those thunderstorms. That's his opinion, but some of the other scientists have come up with that some of the reasons may be that there is a lot of uranium in the bedrock in that area. Other studies suggest that the lightning is attracted to the large amounts of methane and oil deposits in the area, and we know that Venezuela is a big producer of gas. So there's a term in as you study this area, it's called Catatumbo lightning. It is an atmospheric phenomenon that occurs over the mouth of Catatumbo River, where it empties into Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela. Please go and look for some pictures of Lake Maracaibo. It's mind-blowing, some of those pictures, and that people live there. Anyway, so Catatumbo means house of thunder in the language of the local Bari people. The Spanish referred to this lightning as lanterns of St. Anthony or the lighthouse of Maracaibo. This lightning is created when a mass of storm clouds at an altitude of more than a half mile above ground and occurs during 140 to 160 nights every year. 9 hours per day with lightning flashes from 16 to 40 times per minute. Now, I don't understand how people can go about for 9 hours avoiding lightning strikes. I don't know. It's insane to me that in that environment you're trying to live your life. So it occurs over and around Lake Maracaibo, typically over a boggy area where the Catatumbo River flows into the lake. So worldwide, as I mentioned before, there are over 240,000 incidents of people and lightning. And when I looked to see how many are killed every year, I got the figure between 2,000 and 24,000 people are killed every year. That is a dramatic difference, but go down that rabbit hole if you'd like. My only personal, well, it's kind of a personal experience because it happened to my sister. She was living in Arizona, and a lightning bolt hit her neighbor across the backyard, hit her house, went through her windows because the lightning bolt singed her curtains, went through my sister's yard, through her dining room, through a wall, and destroyed her refrigerator and water heater and I think her deep freeze. Because my sister knew, because it singed her curtains too. So, and I've been told that glass is supposed to be a non-conductor of electricity, but that proved that wrong, didn't it? So even standing near windows is kind of dangerous. And it makes me think of all the times I was standing outside watching storms. Anyway, in May of 2021, scientists link what they call the presence of macroscopic dark matter in extremely rare straight lightning bolts. In other words, lightning can produce dark matter. So what is dark matter? According to a couple articles that I read, both stated that there is no current problems of greater importance to cosmology than that of dark matter. Scientists can only speculate what dark matter is. Now, when we were talking about black holes, the scientists were learning about dark holes, not because they could see a dark hole, but how it affected things around the dark hole. Well, scientists are noticing the same thing with dark matter. They cannot see the dark matter, but objects are being affected and there's no obvious reason for them to be affected. And so they're concluding that because there is no visible matter, that's why they're calling it dark matter. Scientists can only speculate what dark matter is because they can't see it. And they conclude that there's too little visible matter in the universe. And so they can't see it, so then they're calling it dark matter. Scientists started watching things that couldn't be explained, something that was interfering or influencing planets and stars, so they gave the term black matter or dark matter as what was influencing these events. Some scientists speculate that the most abundant element in the universe is dark matter. And we're seeing that lightning can create dark matter. As a reminder, there is much in this world we can't see. Going down the rabbit hole of the light spectrum, we learned that there is a very small portion of the light spectrum that we can see. So that makes us conclude that just because we can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. So each of us should have on our cell phones a app that will warn us if there's lightning in the area. I have an app on my phone and it notifies me if there's anything within 10 miles. And we know that lightning bolts travel much more than 10 miles. So please keep an eye out for that. And if you're notified, go inside the house, please. Never near a tall structure and not near a tree. So here is one bit of advice that everybody needs to remember. When you're outside and there is a thunderstorm and you feel static electricity around you, that means a lightning bolt is close by and is going to either hit or discharge, because that's part of the process. Static electricity is going on. Anyway, so it's recommended you do is scrunch down into a ball. Only your feet should be on the ground with your arms around your knees. And as long as you feel that static electricity, you stay there. You do not move until the storm passes. Thank you for joining me as we work to understand lightning just a little bit better. Join me next time when we begin a new journey with Granny Goes Down the Rabbit Hole of the Library of Alexandria. But the rabbit hole of the Library of Alexandria is going to be more like a city because of all the different branches. There is so much we can learn from that library. Thank you for joining me, and join me next time.